Hello and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of the Viva Film Podcast. I am your host Caleb, and I'm of course joined by my ever faithful companion Anthony. Anthony, how the fuck are you doing this week? What's been going on? What's been going on in the wacky world of film and of Anthony?
You know, this week has been pretty tiring, actually, if I do say so. A lot of stuff going on. I know you've had a very exhausting week as well, and I speak for myself. I think I probably speak for you and maybe even some of our listeners when I say that I'm ready for this year to be over.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Like, it needs to be January already.
Yeah, like the holidays always take so much. They take so much out of me and of people in general, really. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the bloody work I'm doing. I'm tired. I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to help these assholes anymore.
I would love it if like one of your management found found our podcast and heard all the wonderful things you were saying.
Oh, they'll agree with me. I'm not saying where I work. I'm just saying that like I work in a job where I deal with a lot of assholes, and it's the holidays.
Some may say that you even deal with more assholes than a gay porn star. So
that's what I'm always saying, brother.
Yeah. So this week I've had a pretty decent week. I finally, Caleb got around to seeing Pluribus.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm 2 episodes behind, but what do you think about it so far?
I am really into it. I'm really digging it. I'm pretty sure I'm caught up. Like I'm pretty sure I'm caught up to like the most recent episode, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And yeah, I love it. I think it's really interesting. I think that the characters are really compelling. And I love this world that Vince is building. Of course, that's Vince Gilligan of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame. And yeah, I mean, it's a great show. It's a really good show, and I'm excited that it's on. So
yeah, no, I'm really digging it. It's cool because like Vince Gilligan is such a talented writer, and I think a lot of people who have only seen Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul might forget that he got his start. Like one of the first big things he did was like he did X-Files. Like he wrote like 30 episodes of X-Files or something like that. So like he's got that sci-fi shit like ingrained into his brain and his writing style. So then after doing Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, which are 2 of the most consistent and well-written shows of all time, kind of combining those 2 things together, Pluribus has fucking rocked so far.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing his sci-fi chops again, and of course I love sci-fi. It's one of my favorite genres, right up there with horror. So seeing more sci-fi stuff is a lot of fun. And you know, I feel like we need more like really solid sci-fi shows. Like I know that I missed the last half of the second season, but Severance is a really solid sci-fi show. I need to catch up on that.
It's very good.
Are there any other like really great sci-fi shows that are currently on? I mean, what else is out there?
Geez, I'm trying to think actually.
I mean, I guess Fallout kind of falls into that like science fiction kind of genre as well, even though it's more of like a video game adaptation, but it is like science fiction. You know, there's robots and mutants and whatnot.
Yeah, Black Mirror is pretty good still, I think.
Yeah, I have not seen Black Mirror in years. So
I'm a little behind, but I've seen the sequel to the USS Callister episode. I have seen that.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that episode, the USS McAllister, starring Jesse Plemons, of course. But yeah, I have not seen the sequel to it yet. Maybe I'll check that out. It's still on Netflix, right?
Oh yeah. They're all on Netflix except for the Bandersnatch one that got taken off of Netflix, and you can't watch it anywhere now. Yeah,
which is weird that now there's just like a piece of lost media. Though I'm sure you could probably find it through less than legal means. So
yeah, which is, I think it's really fucked up that art can just be created and then have nowhere to be. I think that's bad.
It is bad, yeah, and it's one of the it's one of the benefits of piracy is the fact that there can be more, that these things that disappear or get like taken down or are no longer available, that there are still ways to get them. And frankly, if you can't obtain it legally, then like who is to say otherwise, right? Like,
yeah,
if there's no way to watch a TV show, then, you know, it's like you have to pirate it, you know? So in that sense, I think it's very, I think it's very logical and reasonable to go that route if you have to.
It is logical, Captain.
It's very logical, Captain.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
But as far as stuff this week, I also at the day we're recording this last night, I went to WWE's Survivor Series in San Diego.
Nice.
That they did, which that was a really fun show. It wasn't perfect because it's WWE, it's Triple H, but there was some really great stuff. This is just a very mini review. I'm not going to spend more than a minute on this, but it was very fun. The women's War Games match was really cool. I love Io Sky so much. And I won't. And Rhea Ripley was dressed as Art the Clown, and I won't hold that against her.
Okay.
But that was a really great. It was a fucking really cool match. Really fun to see a War Games match live. John Cena's second to last match ever I saw live, where he lost the Intercontinental title to Dominic Mysterio. It wasn't a great technical match, but it was great like WWE style like bullshit, where it's mostly just kind of like it's built around more emotional stuff that isn't related to wrestling, which I don't always like. I prefer, typically a good in-ring action, because wrestling itself is storytelling, despite what some grumpy old men who make a living telling you, complaining will tell you. But it was really cool. Dug that. I love Dom. I think he's an incredible heel doing great stuff. Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella wasn't really anything, unfortunately, but like Stephanie Vaquer is a star. I love her. She's amazing. And then the men's War Games match, I mean, it has a lot going against it because, Logan Paul is in it. And despite what, again, a lot of people will tell you, well, he is athletic. He is not a good wrestler. He does not understand psychology or anything. Brock Lesnar's there. Oh, he hasn't been WWE for 2 years. Why wasn't he there? Google Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon to learn more of why he wasn't there. Jey Uso has been... A lot of the characters in that match have been kind of unmotivated. And it all ended with, a masked man coming into the cage and costing the baby faces, and then it's like, who is this masked man? Who cares? It's like, I don't know. There was cool stuff in the match. Like there were lots of cool moments, but overall it didn't come together as nicely as I would have liked. But it was still a fun show. It's great seeing Cena's second to last match live, and the aura around Cena's entrance was really fucking cool. I think the first half of the show was great. The second half of the show, not as much. Didn't really care for the men's War Games match because the women's was great. Support women's wrestling. There are a lot of people who will still complain about the women, and they get criticized more. Women's wrestling fucking rules. Support it. There are literally promotions that are only women, like in Japan, like Shimmer and Stardom. There's lots of great fucking female wrestling out there. Go support that. Don't just, especially since a lot of times they fucking outshine the men. All the time. So there's that. That's my little mini wrestling review in this fucking Galaxy Quest episode. Anyway, yes. Back to you, Anthony.
Yeah, that was Caleb with in Caleb's Corner, the wrestling wrap up. So
yes.
Yeah, one day I've only ever been to one wrestling match in my entire life, but I'd like to go to another one someday. I think it'd be a lot of fun to check out. So
yeah, I ran into you also.
You did at the one wrestling match that I went to. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you just mentioned it, and of course anyone who's watching this episode or listening to this episode, but you can watch it now. Has seen the title. We this week are talking about Galaxy Quest, which may seem like kind of a detour to have a Galaxy Quest episode right at the tail end of our Star Trek series, right before we get to the J.J. Abrams Kelvin timeline. But as a lot of Star Trek fans will tell you, Galaxy Quest is kind of like one of the best Star Trek films that isn't a Star Trek movie. Caleb, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background with Galaxy Quest? When did you first see it? And did you see it as a Star Trek fan, or did you see it before you watched Star Trek?
So this is really fun because I don't think me and you have talked about this. But I watched Galaxy Quest before I knew what Star Trek was.
I can say the same thing. I saw Galaxy Quest in 2000. My dad rented it from the local video store, not even Blockbuster, because Blockbuster didn't exist in our town yet. So I think we got it from the local family video or something. And I watched Galaxy Quest before I knew what the hell Star Trek even was when I was like 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember my uncle, he was like, "Oh, you got to watch it because it's based on Star Trek. It's crazy." And it's like, I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
And then I watched it, and I thought I liked it, and then I didn't really think about it for a long time. And then last year, on New Year's Eve, actually, in the morning, or maybe it was evening, I don't remember, but like I remember I watched Galaxy Quest for the first time as an adult, and after I'd been like a Star Trek fan, and I was like, well, this is fucking awesome. This is a great film. And then like again, like, you know, getting even more into it recently because I've been, you know, we've been watching all the movies, and then I've been watching Deep Space Nine, which I'm absolutely loving, and now I'm just like, I think I like it even more. Like, I think it's just a really great film that it does feel like it does kind of have to be watched in the context of the other Star Trek movies, where you're like, oh no, this is a Star Trek movie where it's like, it is basically, even though they can't legally say Star Trek, there aren't even, I don't think, any cameos from people who have been in Star Trek or anything like that. But like, it is so, because it's written by people who love Star Trek, and it just is clearly just like, it's that, like, that's just what it is. Like, it's ingrained into its DNA. Like, you can't even separate the two.
Yeah, and this is a saying that you will see a lot of people throw around, is that it is a love letter to Star Trek and to the fandom as well, the Star Trek fandom as a whole. Around this time, because this film came out on Christmas Day, 1999.
Yeah.
And I think like the year prior, or maybe 2 years prior, there was a documentary called Trekkies.
Oh, yeah.
That was released, which Denise Crosby was involved in, as well as other cast members of Star Trek who gave interviews for the documentary. But even though the documentary was kind of like, it was trying to kind of position itself as like, oh, this the wonderful world of the Star Trek fandom, there were some parts that kind of came off as, look at these weirdos, right? Look at how crazy it is. This woman dresses up like a Starfleet captain when she goes to work. Isn't that wacky?
Yeah.
So I know that there was some Star Trek fans who felt, maybe a little betrayed by that documentary, and they even acknowledged it in the documentary's follow-up, Trekkies Part 2. But this film, however, even though there is a little bit of that at the beginning, where it is kind of like, look how weird these fans are, it does embrace that fandom culture, and it does like embrace the fact that, it is the fans that like made Star Trek what it was, and made it the cultural juggernaut that it became.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like, it's also that thing where like, I think with this movie specifically, how they handle like the fandom stuff at the beginning, where some of it is a little cringy, is like, is I think most people who like Star Trek, or most people who like stuff, they're just normal ass people. You're gonna get some weirdos in there, especially with like meeting people that they like see on TV. You're gonna get some very awkward interactions.
Sure, yeah.
But also, again, like there's a great review for this on Letterboxd. It's one of the top ones where like someone says like, great satire has to come from a place of love. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, like this is like making fun of Star Trek, but it's not like somebody who has never seen it or doesn't like it just going, oh, what are these nerds watching? They're just people who are like, I like this, but like, wouldn't this be crazy? Just making like a commentary about like, and also, about like the actors, and also kind of making fun of a lot of the elements of Star Trek, a lot of the more negative elements, and even like just like the positive elements as well, like playing with the tropes, I think also makes it really fun. And like also the fact that like their ship is based on not an actual ship, but like their ship on a TV show.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great gags from that, because like, yeah, a fucking course, like the ship can't self-destruct, it has to stop at one.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of really great moments like that, as well as the one corridor with the big smashers that they have to run through, which is just great. But yeah, like, okay, so Galaxy Quest, we'll do our quick little intro here. Galaxy Quest, directed by Dean Parisot, written by David Howard, also story by David Howard, and written by Robert Gordon, cinematography by Jerzy Zielinski, edited by Don Zimmerman, starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell, Daryl Mitchell, Enrico Colantoni, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Robin Sachs, Patrick Breen, the one and only Missy Pyle, Jed Reese, Justin Long, Jeremy Howard, Corbin Blue, Rainn Wilson, Joel McKinnon Miller, Kevin McDonald, and Joe Frank. And we've already kind of given a synopsis of what the show is, but it's this cast of an old science fiction show that end up in an actual science fiction adventure. So first up, right off the bat, the cast here is incredible. I mean, starting off with Tim Allen, who, personal, real life Tim Allen aside, Tim Allen in this film, what do you think? Like, why is he so good at playing a douchebag?
That's a great question, Anthony. It's like, I'm just saying, if you were going to get an actor to kind of play a William Shatner-esque actor who wants to, kiss himself in the mirror every morning, I mean, who are you going to get besides Tim Allen? I mean, honestly, like, that makes sense. I mean, the shaggy dog himself, Now, when I saw this film in 2000, I had already had a long history with Tim Allen because I had watched the classic 90s sitcom Home Improvement on ABC. Oh, yeah.
And loved that show. Loved Home Improvement growing up. Did you have any kind of history with Tim Allen when you first watched this? I mean, we all know that he was Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story and, of course, the aforementioned Home Improvement. But, like, was there anything else that you were that you knew him from?
Yeah. So obviously Buzz Lightyear. That's probably will always be his most iconic role.
Even more iconic than the Shaggy Dog?
Well, no, nothing's quite as iconic as the Shaggy Dog, Anthony. But yeah, I would say, like, Home Improvement, Buzz Lightyear, fucking Toy Story. I also am a big fan of the Buzz Lightyear cartoon and film where Patrick Warburton takes over as Buzz. Mm-hmm. Great. I don't know if that's fucking still good now. But it's speaking of which, there is you want to hear about a great Comic-Con interaction I saw one time?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so sorry, this is related to this, and also we're talking about bloody fandom. We're talking about some cosplay. It fits. So have you seen the Buzz Lightyear Star Command TV show from like the early 2000s?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the blue girl.
Yes, I remember her. Yes, absolutely.
Oh. And so I'm on the trolley at Comic-Con with our mutual friend Steven.
Are you going to tell me that you saw a cosplayer as the blue girl?
Yeah.
Wow. Why was I not there?
She's there, and this old man taps her on the shoulder and is like, "What is this?" And she just goes, this character from this Buzz Lightyear cartoon. She's a great example of an actually like good female character, and she like goes into this really long explanation for why she likes this character so much, and it's very good. But she's also like a little defensive because this weird man just tapped her on the shoulder and is asking, and it's like an old man who's not in cosplay, doesn't seem like he's here at the convention, and then he goes, "I was just asking." And then sat down.
Well, I mean, what did he expect? What, that she was going to be like? Oh, it's whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know. What did he want her to say?
Yeah, no, it was really weird. That's like up there as like one of the weirdest things. I've seen some weird stuff at Comic-Con for sure.
Oh yeah, there's always weird stuff at Comic-Con. Like
the time that I saw this dude almost get into a fight with a child. That was crazy.
Why?
Because he was mad because the child bumped into him, and he was like started arguing with the kid's mom. And
like, I'm sorry, really, you're at Comic-Con. There's like 200,000 people there. Like, what do you expect? You're gonna bump into people.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's so, people are so fucking weird.
People are fucking weird. But anyways,
yeah, we were talking about Tim Allen. So, yeah, Tim Allen, he's the Shaggy Dog. He's the Buzz Toy Man.
Man.
And he's I feel like I remember liking, and I'm sure it fucking sucks. Because you got Tim Allen and Chevy Chase in it in 2006, and like those dudes are gonna sleepwalk through this. But that movie Zoom, that like superhero comedy movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna mention the motorcycle movie that Tim Allen was in. What was that? Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs. Okay, so dude, I'm so sorry. I know we have to talk about Galaxy Quest. I got to tell you another story real quick because there is literally no other time on this podcast I'm gonna have the chance to tell this.
Okay.
Because we're not doing a Wild Hogs episode, even though you have been pushing me for years to do it.
I mean, I know someone who was in Wild Hogs. We could have her on and interview her. So,
what are you talking about?
I know someone who was in Wild Hogs.
What the fuck? Who? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know. Is it what? You know that John Travolta? You know John Travolta?
No, John Travolta's not a woman.
Oh yeah,
as far as we know. No, I have a friend from college who was in Wild Hogs. She played kind of a background extra. She I don't remember what scene it was, but she's in the film. She's in the movie.
That's fuck. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to her at some point and see. we could have her on and she could tell us stories about the Wild Hogs and in the shooting behind that.
Yeah, you'd be like, you just message her, be like, hey, do you remember when John Travolta got hit in the face with that crow?
I don't know if she was on set for that day, but
I'd like to have. She should have been there every day. She was the director.
She was not the director. She was one of the featured extras. Anyways, wow. what did you want to say about Wild Hogs?
There's a scene in the movie where Tim Allen eats a stick of butter and has a heart attack. Sorry, I was gonna. Sorry.
I don't know if you're making this up.
There is.
This is a Wild Hogs episode now, folks. Film I've never seen.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, you gotta check it out. It's fucking awful. But like, no, there's a scene where William H. Macy. So William H. Macy's character has a tattoo of the Apple logo.
Okay.
And that's a joke. The whole joke is like, oh, he's a nerd. He's got ink, man. He's got the, and he's the one who bloody gets the girl at the end too. Ooh. You know, it's like, oh, he's the nerd, but he's gonna fuck. One day I'm in an Uber going to work, and my fucking Uber driver was so weird, and like, you know, and I was like, why is this guy so weird? And then I saw he has a tattoo of the fucking Apple logo on the back of his neck, like he's in Wild Hogs.
Fucking Wild Hogs, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, anyways.
You know, I'd love to do an episode on all of Tim Allen's 2000s movies, but we don't have time for that. And I haven't watched his dumb conservative TV shows because I like to be productive with my time.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's just a weirdo, unfortunately. But like, he is good in this movie, and he's good as like Buzz Lightyear, and he's good as the titular Shaggy Dog.
Yeah, the Shaggy Dog, which he will always be remembered as. Going down this cast list, though, we have, of course, science fiction royalty Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah.
Ripley herself. She looks a lot different in this movie, doesn't she, Caleb? She has a blonde wig.
Yeah.
What do you think of Sigourney Weaver as a blonde?
It's pretty cool, I reckon. I don't know. I mean, like, okay. It's different. Like, you don't really see her blonde very much, but I thought it was fun. You know, it's a little different, especially for like the character she was playing. Mm-hmm. I thought it like fit really well.
Yeah, there's some stories that she had where she said that she would sometimes like leave the set in her getup, like in her makeup and with her wig, and she talked about how she'd always have people like coming up and saying hi to her, and especially men would would be paying her a lot more attention, which, you know, first of all, she looks great in this movie, but she looks great like all the time. Like, are dudes not going up to Sigourney Weaver and like trying to hit on her or trying to say what's up? Like, come on, guys, what the hell's wrong with y'all? Sigourney Weaver, goddammit.
Yeah, she's great in this, and it's cool. It's also cool to like get someone, because like with Tim Allen, you're like, okay, we need someone who can play kind of like a hack. Then okay, there he is. And then with Sigourney Weaver's character, I think it was cool to get like someone who had done a lot of sci-fi already and was like already like a huge icon of like the genre and had been for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And she's fantastic in this. Like, she's amazing in everything. I've never seen Sigourney Weaver phone it in. Like, even in bad movies that she's in or bad TV series, like, I think that she always comes across really well because she's just very talented. She's very, from what I've heard, she's just very professional. Really cool to work with. And yeah, no, she's obviously, she's great in this. I think she adds to the cast. Like, I think it could have been really easy to like, just like, I don't know, just throw somebody random in there, but getting the choice to just do Sigourney Weaver was, I think, a really smart one. Yeah,
absolutely. And then, of course, we have the incomparable Alan Rickman, who is he the heart of this film?
Oh yeah, this movie doesn't work without him.
Yeah,
it doesn't, because first of all, so if you only know Alan Rickman from Harry Potter, first of all, I would really request or ask of you that you watch good movies.
Okay.
Like Galaxy Quest, or Gremlins 2.
Or Dogma.
Alan Rickman's not even in Gremlins 2. I don't know why I said that. I just felt it in my heart. But
I mean, Gremlins 2 is a classic.
So Alan Rickman is like one of the in my opinion, like he just comes across. He's always come across so well in these movies, even though I don't like those Harry Potter movies. Don't watch them. Fuck that. He's the best thing about all of them because he's just such a great actor. And what he's able to add to even like, I mean, he's able to give a great performance in a Kevin Smith movie. So,
Yeah.
That should have won him an Oscar. And then his role here where he's playing a, prestigious actor who got cast in the sci-fi TV show, and now it's like the only gig he can get.
Right.
Is like doing these conventions where he has to like wear like the makeup and dress up as all the time. It's really great. Like his whole conflict and his whole arc throughout the movie where he's like frustrated with his position, hates the fans, hates hearing his like catchphrase.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the movie, whenever he like says his catchphrase, it's the best scene in the entire film.
Well, yeah, we have this incredibly emotional scene where one of the Thermians who, during the whole film has really like looked up to Alan Rickman, he dies at the end of the film, and Alan Rickman gives his line like by the power of Grabthar's hammer you will be avenged. And like it fucking gets me, man. Like it's very emotional. It's a very emotional film. It besides being very funny comedically, it also has some really strong, really heavy emotional moments.
Yeah, well, it's the thing that it's missing from a lot of the actual Star Trek movies. Not all of them, but like some of them, especially the next gen ones, is it remembers that like these are characters who need arcs. Even Tony Shalhoub gets an arc because it's like, oh, he acts a little more alien than he does human, so maybe he's gonna want to fuck a lady with tentacles, and
Yeah, with what he ends up at the end with Missy Pyle. Lucky guy. But yeah, I mean, kind of going off what you just said, yeah, I mean, all the characters in this movie feel so like fleshed out, and even characters who have like very brief very brief amount of screen time still feel like really three-dimensional and really complicated arcs, and more so than what we see in some of the Star Trek films, especially the couple Star Trek films that we talked about last week. And so I just think like this is proof that you can do this, guys. Like you can make an ensemble cast film where every cast member feels like they have a really strong and really compelling character arc. So it's possible. It's something that can be done, everyone.
Yeah, and it's really funny because like there's so many examples of this, of like how this is done, like Seven Samurai, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like there are great films that are about ensemble casts, and it's nuts to me how like it's like when people write other ensembles sometimes, I think they get in their own head and they get like so nervous about balancing so many characters that they forget that like you're working with an ensemble here. Like you got, and they're not thinking about what makes those other movies great. They're just thinking about like stuffing shit in there. And that's how you get stuff that doesn't really work, where you only have like maybe two main characters and then you have like six characters who just stand around and say a line every 10 minutes or so. Yes. Yeah.
I agree 100%. Fantastic characters, just really great writing all around for this film. One really interesting thing, kind of circling back to Alan Rickman's character first, quickly, is that originally in the very first draft of the screenplay that was written by David Howard, Alan Rickman's character was going to be more of a villainous role.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't have the role. He wasn't like he wasn't that heart of the film that you have now. In the version that we see, he was more of an antagonist throughout the film. So I'm really happy that they changed that they during the rewrite that Robert Gordon did, that they changed that aspect of his character, and I think it makes his character much more compelling.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would have worked with him being more villainous.
It was going to be something like his character had like tricked a bunch of aliens into thinking that like he was his character from the show, and like Tim Allen's character was going to have to go and like save the aliens from Alan Rickman's character. That was kind of like what the first draft was going for.
I don't really like that.
Yeah. And that just gives you like an idea of just like how much movies can change from draft to draft and from writer to writer. Especially. And, because like this movie was written by two different separate writers. David and Robert didn't work together. They did separate drafts. And I think, David came up with this really interesting and compelling, story and premise. And I think Robert really like hammered out a lot of the really important character moments and emotional beats of the film that made this movie so memorable, and why so many people still remember it and still watch it and talk about it.
Yeah, it's really funny too, because I know one scene that I feel like stands out a lot. It stands out so much that I kind of unconsciously referenced it to you like a couple weeks ago in a text.
Yeah.
Was the scene where Tim Allen's at the convention. He's in the bathroom and he overhears some guys like making fun of him for like being at the convention. Apparently this happened to William Shatner in real life.
Yeah, this is based off a real thing that happened to William Shatner.
Yeah, and I think that scene really works because it also established this thing where like Tim Allen's character is this guy who like not only was he on the show 18 years ago and he can't get anything else, he can only really get like convention appearances. It's like his whole life is that he was on it. Like he knows every aspect of it. He loves talking to the fans. He loves like doing all this stuff, and it just makes him. But he's also like a douchebag,
right?
Where, like, he thinks that he's better than the rest of the of the cast and all this stuff, and it's like because of that, and then having him be like humbled in that way, where it's like he's like, yeah, I'm so great, and then it's like these guys are fucking losers, which by the way is rude. Like it's not their fault that they can't get work. I want to clarify. I don't think that's nice.
Right.
But it's like, I think that in that way, that's such a pivotal character moment because it sets up his arc for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole point of this film, ultimately, other than being a level other Star Trek, other than like having these really great character beats, other than, making you laugh and like making you emotional, is this movie sets up, with like, oh, this is what it's like on the TV show, haha, and then this is who they are in real life. But then by the end of the movie, when they're going against the villain and every single cast member is just doing their job on the ship like they're like for real, it's fucking great because the entire movie's been building that because these are people that don't even necessarily like each other, they're just coworkers, and then by the end of it it's like they're all working together and it's great. It reminds me, Anthony, of a wonderful episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation,
okay,
which is the final episode where there's that moment where spoilers for Next Generation, but like where there's telling stories through like three different timelines basically, and there's this moment where you see Picard at the encounter at Farpoint, which is the pilot episode, that version of him, and he's talking to the crew and he's like talking about how much he's like I know you have no reason to trust me, but I believe in every single one of you, blah blah blah. And then they all just start immediately working, like no one even says anything, and they just do it, and it's like it's fucking perfect. And in this film, it's like setting up, it's kind of like making fun of Star Trek and like they're in this goofy sci-fi show, but then by the end of the movie you're like, fuck yeah, I'm just watching a good science fiction movie now.
Yeah. It starts out as a parody of Star Trek, and then by the end of it, it's like a really fucking great science fiction film. And a lot of people, some Star Trek fans even consider to be on par with some of the best Star Trek films. So,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic movie. It's got some really wonderful moments. We start off with, Tim Allen gets beamed to the spaceship at first, and he thinks that it's like this, like, I don't know, like this recreation or something. Like he doesn't believe that it's actually real. And then that's when we meet the villain Saris. And then he gets beamed through space back to his house, and it's just kind of like his reaction to that. And yeah, it's just like his character is just really great from beginning to end, and seeing that change and seeing that arc is so compelling and really it's really great experience, really, as an audience member, as a watcher of this film.
Yeah, and one thing I also like is I think Sam Rockwell we haven't really talked about, but I think his role is really great because he's this guy who was in like one episode of the show, who is like kind of trying to like leech off the back of like their fame.
Right. Yeah.
And so and it's funny because he's like the comedic relief of the entire movie. But like, you know, once he realizes how serious situations, he's like, you know, I'm just expendable, blah, 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 you know, whatever. And then Tony Shalhoub's like, I think you're just a plucky comedic relief. Like and it's great because it's like, no, that is what he's been the whole time. Like for us as an audience. Yeah. So then you're like, it works. This movie's very well written.
It is very well written. Yeah, it's very well written. Very, very well directed. It's just like all the pieces just fit together really well. And, you know, this movie came out in 1999. I mean, there must have been something in the air in 1999 because that was a banner year for film. Just some of the best movies of the 90s in 1999. I think like the same weekend that this came out, The Green Mile also came out.
Oh, yeah.
Which Sam Rockwell was also in. So
oh shit, he was, yeah.
Yeah, so you could do like a really interesting Sam Rockwell double feature back in 1999 of Green Mile and then Galaxy Quest. So
yeah, and you know it's interesting because speaking of double features, on New Year's Eve when I watched this last year, I watched the end of the tour right after.
That's quite a change in tone, isn't it?
Yeah, but in a way, aren't they both films about creativity?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
you know, about creativity.
Yeah, they're both films about you know the public perception of public facing individuals and how that is different from what the reality is. So yeah,
and Jesse Eisenberg's in one of them.
And Jesse Eisenberg is in one of them. That is true. Not Galaxy Quest, unfortunately.
That would be. I mean, he would be if it came out now, wouldn't he?
He would be, yes. Do you have any like any other moments from this film that like really stand out to you? Because I mean, there's a lot of great moments in Galaxy Quest.
There are. I'm a really big fan of the joke about beaming Tim Allen up, where they're trying to figure out how to because it's not real technology.
Yeah.
That was really funny. That's a great gag, and it's because that is so clearly written by somebody who loves Star Trek. It's like not even funny because that's like how most conversations about transporters go. I know me and you have had conversations in real life about how creepy it is, and how neither of us would want to be transported because like it's like you wouldn't know, but like are you being killed and then just reassembled?
Yeah. Are you being killed and then just like a copy of you is being sent to a different area? Yeah, we don't want our atoms getting all jumbled up, you know.
Yeah, Alan Moore wrote a whole comic about this.
Which one was that?
Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Swamp Thing's just spoilers for a 40-year-old comic, but it's that Swamp Thing's like he's not the original Alec Holland. He's like a fucking what do you call it? He's just like a copy basically. It's like a mental copy in a Swamp Thing form.
Cool.
We love Swamp Thing, folks.
We do, yes. And of course, we get that really great scene where before they transport Tim Allen, they transport that like pig creature that's chasing him around. Yeah. And he gets transported back and he's turned inside out. And I was curious, like that's probably what happened in Star Trek: The Motion Picture when they had that transporter mishap. Yeah. They probably were like turned inside out, which is fucked up to think about.
Yeah, and Eric Andre has a gag about that on the Eric Andre show.
I need to rewatch that at some point. Yeah,
it's always, you know, the thing that's great about the Eric Andre show is you'll always find something new to appreciate every time you watch it.
Just like Eric Andre, the person, the man, the individual.
Yeah, I'll never forget when you first showed me Eric Andre in the Best Buy. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
We were just hanging out with Steven at Best Buy in like 2018, and you just took out your phone and just started showing me the interview with Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh yeah, the Jeanette McCurdy interview. Yeah, that was you know, Jeanette McCurdy has a new book coming out soon. So
that's right.
Yeah, everybody go pre-order her new book, and also check out her last book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which you recommended on a previous episode. And
it's really good.
It is really good. Yeah. So this film was intended to be like more of a raunchier comedy. It was supposed to be a PG-13 film, Caleb, but they edited it down to a PG film. Were you surprised that it said rated PG? I was.
Well, yeah, that's why if you notice near the end when they see the smashing room, Sigourney Weaver is saying fuck. and it is so obviously what she is saying. But they edit it. They put ADR over it that's her saying, "Well, screw that." Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and apparently, because throughout the movie, the zipper on her uniform like gets lower and lower until we get to the final scene, and it's just like her. We're seeing like her entire cleavage. Apparently there was like some scene where she was trying to seduce the enemy aliens. That scene I heard about that, yeah. That scene was cut out to achieve this more family friendly rating, because they were really trying to like get families who like had maybe watched Star Trek, get them in to see this movie. Didn't really work out the first weekend. It wasn't until the following weekends, by word of mouth, that fans actually ended up going to see this movie in theaters. I mean, do you think that them trying to go for that like PG rating, do you think that was kind of a weird move? Or I mean, what do you think about this? Like, should this have been a raunchier comedy, or do you think it's fine the way it is?
I mean, I think any story can be improved if you kind of just go, okay, do you need this in it? Like, do you have to have this 100% in this?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at everything like that. But like ultimately, like I think that the comedy in this movie works. Like, I think if it was raunchier, I don't think it would make it better or worse. Like, I think the seducing scene could kind of maybe come across kind of weird, but it could also, if written well, come off as a really good satire of like how a lot of female characters in sci-fi are portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
But like, my biggest issue is I understand the perspective of wanting to make this more family friendly, but I hate that they took out her saying fuck, mostly because you can see her saying it.
You can see her saying it, yeah. It's and once you notice it, you can't not notice it.
Yeah, and there's other details, like for example, the main villain, Saris, that he was not saying that dialogue on set. That's all ADR, and if you listen for it, you can notice that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make the movie bad. Like, how many movies have ADR like that for characters like that? It's totally fine.
Yeah,
but it is very noticeable sometimes. Which again, most people are not going to notice that. But I'm getting really annoyed with how much I notice ADR now. I don't want this power. I don't like it.
And once you know how movies are made, it's kind of like knowing how the hot dog is made, right?
Yeah, well, I know.
Yeah, I like kind of it would have been interesting to see like where they would have taken this film had they like kept the PG-13 rating, and even like they even could have done a special DVD edition, like an unrated version or whatever, because those were very popular in the early 2000s. But I think like having the PG rating, I don't think that it hurts the film, and I think that it's totally fine the way it is. I think it's it's very smartly written. The comedy is very quick, and I think the movie is really strong as it exists, and totally fine. And I think it works as a PG film. And because of that, I think that it's maybe a lot more accessible to younger fans. People who would like to see this film or check it out, can convince their parents to let them watch it, if that's still something that people care about anymore with movie ratings.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the stuff that's on streaming right now is a lot more graphic than what we're seeing in theaters in some ways. No,
that is very true. Because it seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
Which is a great segue, Caleb, because I want to talk about another very quickly, like another fan-made Star Trek project that a lot of people point to. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Have you seen The Orville?
No, I know that Adriana Palicki is in it, so like I want to, because I like her.
Yeah, I have not seen The Orville, so I really this conversation is not going to get very far. But it is interesting how like on one end you have like Galaxy Quest, which is this comedy kind of satire that a lot of fans love and hold in the same regard as like the original inspiration, which is Star Trek. And on the other hand, you have Orville, which is another kind of satire comedy that a lot of fans say is like the best Star Trek TV show of the modern era. I mean, what's going on here? Why are we having like these Star Trek fans who are making like stuff that is on par with the actual films and the actual series that they're inspired by?
Because I think Star Trek is very different from Star Wars in a lot of ways. So, for example, like whenever fans of, I'm gonna say something very controversial. When fans of Star Wars tell you they could do something better or they have ideas for where things should go, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about, and most of their ideas are bad.
Okay.
And but like, because it comes from this place of wanting. It comes from a place of mostly like fan service or like wanting to create new, different ways of lore based on like how they perceive things from either watching the movies, playing Knights of the Old Republic, reading the expanded universe stuff like the Thrawn trilogy, all that stuff, right? Which, like, again, I fucking love Star Wars, unfortunately, all right? I'm gonna be stuck with that shit till the day I die, and it's not something I'm happy about.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, look, but like with Star Trek, I think a lot of fans of Star Trek, and I know, again, there are toxic Star Trek fans, there are fucking stupid Star Trek fans. They're Star Trek fans who should not be making stuff or writing anything related to Star Trek. But I think what Star Trek is able to do is, I think Star Trek more inspires people a creativity in a sense of themes and like ideas and like this kind of feeling and where you're kind of like, okay, you have a crew and they're solving like sci-fi problems, and that's usually what most people are wanting. You don't get a lot of like fan servicey, like, oh my god, Kirk and Cisco are sitting in a bar sharing stories. Wouldn't it be so cool? Because you don't get a lot of like of the nostalgia stuff. And again, I definitely think that some modern Star Trek, I think they've overthought themselves a little bit. I'm not crazy about some of it. I haven't seen all of it. I've never seen Discovery, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks. I haven't seen the new Starfleet Academy show, even though Paul Giamatti's in it as an alien, and it makes me so fucking excited, man. But I have seen Picard, and I've seen like movies, and I've heard things. And I think sometimes modern Star Trek, official Star Trek, can overthink itself sometimes. And maybe sometimes gets away from the episodic nature that makes Star Trek good. Like, for example, Picard, while I like the third season, Picard doesn't feel episodic. It's kind of like a prestige drama that's set in Star Trek. And I personally don't love that. I think that, like, and I'm not saying you can't experiment with things, because that would go against my whole philosophy with creativity. But, like, I think when people want to make something related to Star Trek, if you're looking at the Orville, Galaxy Quest, the Black Mirror episodes, USS Callister, these are all these very loving concepts that's where it's like, it does play around with tropes, they make jokes, but it's about like it's about this, that kind of basic concept of like, we've got a crew and they're doing stuff. And it's not this obsession with fan service that I think a lot of fans of Star Wars want. So, for example, in Star Wars, spoiler alert for a 10-year-old movie you've seen, everybody, but like, look, when everyone got mad that Han Solo died, it's like, okay, but like, it enhanced the story, and it's like, who cares, because it's like, oh, we didn't get a scene where like he looks at Luke and says, wow, kid, we're old. And it's like, I mean, yeah, maybe it was kind of weird that they never interacted, but it's also like, is that the only reason to make those movies? Like, shouldn't we be making fucking stories that like challenge your perception of like what Star Wars is, or like making you feel different things, creating new beloved characters, making new stuff? Like, shouldn't that be the top priority? Like, does like, I like seeing Yoda as much as anybody, but like, I don't need to, there didn't need to be an extended sequence in The Rise of Skywalker where like, Yoda shows up back from the grave and starts, whipping out that little laser sword of his and going to town. Like, no, because it's like, that would be dumb as fuck. But I think for a lot of people, if that had happened, that would have been like so rad and awesome. And it's like, that's not like, you should make fans happy, but you need to give fans stuff that they're not expecting by just giving, because I think when people want fan service, what they actually want are they like because you may think, oh, I want to see like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia fly around on the Millennium Falcon, while like the voice of Hayden Christensen is like, wow, I'm so proud of my kids, right? You may think you want something like that, but I think what you actually want you want like good themes and good writing and good characters. And I know the Star Wars fans don't appreciate this because they didn't like The Last Jedi. So anyway, sorry, I went on a fucking long tangent, but my point is, I think that with Star Trek, it's a little bit easier for fans to kind of create their own version of it and make it work, because you're just kind of like, because the things you love are good characters in this very kind of like specific sci-fi setting, which, with how influential Star Trek is, you do kind of find a lot of things going back to that whole, okay, we've got a crew doing this thing. And I feel like I've said that like 5 times now. I don't know if this whole long thing I'm doing works or makes sense. But that's kind of how I feel about it. Basically, I think it's because it's more focused on themes and ideas than just being like, oh, I want to be serviced as a fan. Does that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and yeah, like I haven't seen the Orville, so I'm not sure what they're doing over there. But I know, like with Galaxy Quest, kind of going back to what you're talking about with themes, right? Themes and like a message, like an emotional message. And I think that is ultimately what resonates with people. I mean, you can have like these amazing scenes with the Enterprise, going through warp speed and, shooting photon torpedoes at the Romulan ship. But what people are going to remember is they're going to remember that scene where, Kirk and Spock hold their hands up to the glass as, Spock is dying. They're going to remember, that scene at the end of TNG, where it's like, you're always welcome, Captain. It's about that emotion. And I think with the case of Galaxy Quest, like they really understood that. They understood that it's about the emotion. It's about that connection that people have to these characters and to these stories. And I think a lot of modern day a lot of modern day productions, they kind of overlook that sometimes. They prioritize stuff like fan service or like references to other things. And with a lot of TV shows, they just don't have enough time to really like build up these characters. Like, every season is like 10 episodes long, and with like 2 or 3 year long gaps in between the seasons. So, we just don't have that time to like really build up on these relationships and on what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I think Galaxy Quest did a fantastic job of really capturing that feeling of watching Star Trek. And I think that's why it resonates so much with a lot of the fans, with a lot of people who grew up watching Star Trek. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like, and I think that's why it's kind of like stood the test of time and is still so popular and like beloved by like a lot of people, even people who aren't like huge fans of Star Trek, because it's just a good fucking movie. Like, I think you can watch this without watching Star Trek and go and be like, oh, this is good. And I know because I did.
Yeah,
I was a little guy.
I did as well. And yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic film. It really is. It's a great fucking movie. This was something interesting that I found out doing some research, is that there is a connection between Galaxy Quest and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, what's that?
So Dean Parisot, who is the director of Galaxy Quest, also directed a handful of episodes for the TV show Reading Rainbow.
That's cool.
With LeVar Burton. And specifically, he directed one episode in which LeVar Burton and the Reading Rainbow team go to the set of Star Trek: The Next Generation during its first season, and they do like a behind the scenes like featurette on Star Trek: The Next Generation. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, I recommend like seeking it out. I think if you go on YouTube and just type in Reading Rainbow, Star Trek: The Next Generation, you can find it. It's a great video. It's about 20 minutes long. It's basically just like a full episode of Reading Rainbow. But yeah, Dean Parisot directed that particular episode, and then he would go on to direct Galaxy Quest. Yeah,
it's cool as hell. I love that.
That is really cool as hell. And speaking of other things you can watch on YouTube, did you know that in the run-up for Galaxy Quest's release, that there was actually a mockumentary that was released on the E! channel?
Yeah.
That was basically like a behind the scenes of the TV show Galaxy Quest. And it even had Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman reprise their roles as the actors in that TV show. Have you seen it, or you know about it?
No, I know that they make a joke about Woody Allen in it.
They do. Yes, they do make a joke about Woody Allen in it. But yeah, it's another thing that's on YouTube. It's like really low quality. I think it's like in 240p or something. But it's up on YouTube, and it's really fun. It's a really fun little featurette to check out after you watch Galaxy Quest. You can go watch this little like 20-minute long documentary, and it's quite a bit of fun. It's just very charming.
Yeah, I really wanted to check that out. But another thing I found out about last night was have you seen the short film Roddenberry on Patrol?
No, I haven't.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I actually don't, but I will write it down so I can check it out later.
So it's a short that came out in like 2004 that's about Gene Roddenberry as like a highway patrol like motorcycle guy, and he is like trying to fix his writer's block, and so he runs into a lot of people that like inspire a lot of his characters in Star Trek.
Okay.
And there's a lot of cameo, like most of the cast are actors from Star Trek. So you've got I'm completely blanking on everybody, but there are a lot of actors from. It's only like 14 minutes long apparently. I mean, I was gonna watch it last night and I fell asleep before I did. But
I wonder, is it like similar? I wonder if it's similar at all to that short film. Was it George Lucas in Love, which kind of like has a similar kind of premise where it's George Lucas at college and he meets all these characters who inspire Star Wars.
Yeah. Like he meets an old man that wants to train him. He meets a little robot who's very fun, and a robot who's scared. Yeah,
and there's yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I think it's on YouTube, but there's a very funny bit in there with a woman, a young woman who inspires Princess Leia. And actually, I got very lucky one time. I found George Lucas Falls in Love, or George Lucas in Love. I found it on VHS, and I have I have it in my collection somewhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars short films, you know about the short film that's called like the fight at like Leia's party or whatever?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so it's basically about, it's just a normal party where it's like, oh, these two guys start getting into a fight, and then one of them takes out a lightsaber and like stabs the other.
Oh.
And it was, and do you know who directed that? Who, you know, he would go on to direct a very infamous film.
Is this the one that Josh Trank directed?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is that the one where like stormtroopers show up at the end and they're like,
yeah,
okay. I think, God, I want to say, I may be totally wrong, but I want to say that like I saw that like on G4, like Attack of the Show played it or something. Like it seems like one of those things that they would have like shown or like referenced or something.
Yeah, man, remember G4?
Yeah, let's do a whole podcast episode about G4 TV and Attack of the Show and X-Play.
Yeah, remember when they came back?
I do actually. I do remember when they came back. Yeah, what a bungle that was. Like, yeah. They really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, what wasn't a bungle was Galaxy Quest, which is a very delightful film. Galaxy Quest,
yes, a very delightful, very charming movie. Absolutely love this film, and I even own it now. I decided, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray, so I have it on Blu-ray. I was
thinking about that too.
Yeah, I picked it up. I picked it up at Amoeba Records here in Hollywood, California.
Oh. Yeah, that's you know what I bought there. I bought Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan there.
I also got a Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan many years later after you got your copy.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was there with our mutual friend OJ, and that's when I bought it.
Yes, from the from your short film Life Sucks, which
yes, that's correct.
Which someday will make its YouTube debut, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So thinking about how much we like Galaxy Quest, do we want there to be any sequels to this movie?
No, I think it's okay.
No? Well, guess what, Caleb? There've been talks about sequels. Oh, fuck,
they are. Shit.
Well, so there have been talks about sequels going all the way back to when it was first released.
Yeah.
There was a Galaxy Quest possible sequel in 2016, which apparently the cast had actually signed on for. However, unfortunately, the death of Alan Rickman stopped that particular sequel. And I think it was supposed to be like on Amazon or something. It was going to be like an Amazon series or an Amazon original.
Yeah.
In 2017, talks of a sequel came back up again with Paul Scheer as a possible writer. Which I don't really know how I feel about that. The Paul Scheer, the comedian, I think he probably has some podcasts as well. And the most recent talks of a sequel as recently as 2021, where Simon Pegg was going to be a writer, and Georgia Pritchett was going to be producing, and Georgia has worked on Veep and Succession. And this sequel would have been on Paramount Plus on their streaming thing. I mean, how do we feel about this? Like, obviously, I think that we should leave Well Enough alone. Like, this is a classic film. It's well loved. It has a really dedicated fan base and following. I think it's kind of gone beyond like cult status. I think it's just a fantastic movie that just people need to see. But like, I don't think there needs to be a sequel. I think we're good. I think we're okay.
Yeah, especially since Alan Rickman has passed away. It's like, what's the point? I
mean, he's one of the, like, he is like the top three main characters. I would argue the three main characters are, you know, Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, yeah, I just don't. And then also it's like, you know, there's a lot of problems with bringing back, because then you got like Tim Allen. He's going to be saying weird stuff during the whole press for it. And
sure.
Sigourney Weaver's cool, at least, but, you know.
Yeah. As far as I know, Sigourney Weaver is cool. Yes.
Yeah, but
yeah, there has been some version of a sequel, Caleb. There have been Galaxy Quest comic books that were published by IDW.
What?
Yes, yeah, there are Galaxy
I'm not
Quest...
surprised, but that's crazy.
Yeah, so in 2008, there was a series that was written by Scott Lobdell with art by Ilias Kirazias. I am mispronouncing that. But yeah, that was in 2008, and then there was another series in 2015, which was called Galaxy Quest Journey Continues. So I have not read either of these series. I didn't know they existed until this morning when I was doing research for this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like altogether there's about 9 issues. 5 issues for the first series, and then 4 issues for the Journey Continues.
Did Scott Lobdell do both of them?
It doesn't say here who did Journey Continues, but he did do the original, the first series in 2008.
Yeah, because I read a lot of his New 52 stuff, because he wrote like 4 or 5 New 52 series for DC.
Yeah, the Red Hood and the Outlaws, Teen Titans.
Superman,
he also apparently wrote on Alpha Flight.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, and he wrote the comedy horror film Happy Death Day. Have you ever seen Happy Death Day?
No, I haven't. I didn't. He wrote that?
That's what it says. It says he wrote it. I have never seen it, but it's been on my list for a while because it has like a really strong following. A lot of people really like Happy Death Day.
Yeah. No, people. It's like a cult classic or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Galaxy Quest, man. That's Galaxy Quest, baby.
Hell yeah.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Tony Shalhoub's character, who we didn't really talk about too much, but do you know the story about how his character is supposed to be high the whole time?
Oh yeah, right. And it's great because like they don't really. I think they make like one actual joke about it.
Yeah, I think there's one reference where what's his name? The guy, the character guy.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell, where he briefly mentions like, "Are you high or something?" But like, yeah, that was something that I guess they talked about Tony Shalhoub, and it was just kind of like his idea. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pretend like this dude's high the whole time, which is why he reacts the way that he does.
Yeah, because it comes across as he's just like is really weird, and like he feels like very alien and not quite human in the way he acts, which I think fits really well. It actually adds to him getting with Missy Pyle a lot more. It's like really, it's really good because unless you know that backstory, you don't even really realize it. Mm-hmm. It just feels like he's just a weird guy.
He's just a weird guy. Not that there's anything weird about being into Missy Pyle at all.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to say about smoking weed. There's nothing weird about either of those things.
No, I don't smoke weed anymore. But I fully support legalization of marijuana. I don't see why it should be criminalized.
Yeah.
And then one more person who was in this, Caleb, was Kevin McDonald, who plays the announcer at the convention at the end of the film. Now, Kevin McDonald is something of a comedic legend. He was in the television show The Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
He also played Pleakley in Lilo and Stitch, the original Lilo and Stitch. Did. And he was one of the tallest in Invader Zim, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's funny to me because when you know that and you hear his voice at the end of Galaxy Quest, it's hard not to immediately imagine Pleakley or the Tallest like shouting over a microphone like, be sure to buy Galaxy Quest merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like some Galaxy Quest merch. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, or hey, what if we like I know we were talking about what to do after the Star Trek episodes, and we had some good ideas from some shows. Let's just do the new Lilo and Stitch.
The live action one?
Yeah, I have not seen it.
Neither have I. Have you seen? You've seen the original film, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the new one, I know I've heard that it has some very horrible themes.
I've heard that it kind of falls short in some places.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, but anyways, what a fun little detour to talk about this comedic classic, this classic film from the 90s.
Yeah, and it's not going to be like an hour and 40-minute episode this week.
No, we're barely over an hour. I feel like we'll be wrapping up pretty soon. But yeah, Caleb, next time we're going to be talking about the Kelvin timeline. We're going into different timelines, Caleb. We're finishing up our Star Trek series, and it's going out with a bang, maybe a whimper. Who knows?
There's gonna be some whimpering next week for sure.
When we talk about the second film.
Yeah.
Are you excited to talk about the Kelvin Star Trek movies?
I wouldn't say I'm excited. I feel like I sound like Rich Evans for some reason in that way, not in my voice, but like I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm curious.
Okay.
That's my Rich Evans impression apparently.
That's a fantastic Rich Evans impression, honestly.
Should I try to do the lap? We're not doing that. This isn't shot on film.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, that was Galaxy. How are you feeling about the Kelvin timeline? Are you excited? Eric Bananas in one of them.
Yeah, we got Eric Bananas. I'm Bananas for Eric Bananas. It's funny because most of these films I actually have not seen since they were in theaters. I did rewatch Star Trek 2009 pretty recently. I want to say like earlier this year I rewatched it.
Yeah, I remember when you watched that.
But like Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond, like I think I've seen those movies like once. Yeah. So it'll be fun to watch them again and kind of see like how my opinion on them have changed now, having watched so much Star Trek in the past year.
Yeah, I know who Quark is now. So what are you really going to give me?
Yeah, I know who Quark is. I know who Jadzia Dax and Kira Nerys and Ro Laren, all my favorite Bajorans,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. This has been a very this has been a fun series. It's been a nice way to get back into the groove of things, get back into the spirit of the Viva Film podcast. So
yeah, no, exactly. And like again, I'm excited to see how we feel about it, because these are, we haven't had a proper Star Trek movie that was released in theaters in like almost 10 years. So it'll be fun to get into them. Yeah.
So yeah, join us next time when we wrap up our Star Trek series, and be sure to go back and listen to our previous episodes if you haven't yet, because they're a lot of fun as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this series a lot. Yeah. So without further ado, we will wrap it up now, right before the hour and 10-minute mark. My name, it's still Anthony, and I'm Caleb, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper.